Two people can get hit by the same Uber driver in the same car in the same intersection and have different results. One case could be worth $1 million, while the other is treated as a basic car accident and possibly not have any coverage at all. The difference comes down to one thing: whether the driver was actually on the app. I'm Megan Shaw, an attorney with Parrish and Goodman. I help people every day understand what happens after an accident, especially when rideshare is involved. One of the biggest misconceptions that I see is that an Uber or Lyft driver hits you, the company automatically covers the accident. That's not always true. Let's talk about what really happens, because this is where things can change fast. Imagine this. You're driving home from work, maybe stopping to pick up dinner. You're sitting at a red light when all of a sudden you get hit by another vehicle, and then you find out that the driver works for Uber. Your first thought might be, okay, this is a rideshare accident. There has to be a big insurance policy to cover this. But then you find out the driver wasn't on the app. They weren't actively working. They weren't waiting on a ride. They were just driving. In that moment, everything changes. Now, instead of a rideshare claim, your case is treated like a normal accident. This means you're dealing with the driver's personal insurance, which is often much lower than what Uber or Lyft would carry. So instead of having access to a $1 million policy, you could be dealing with a policy that's nothing, or a fraction of what could have been. And that can directly impact your settlement. Now, there is another situation that confuses a lot of people. Let's say the driver does have the app on, but they haven't accepted a ride yet. This is what's called period 1. They're technically working, but there's no passenger in the car. In that case, Uber or Lyft do provide coverage, but it's limited. Typically, that's around $50,000 per person or $100,000 per accident. And here's where it gets tricky. That coverage often only applies if the driver's personal insurance denies the claim. So now you're caught between two insurance companies, each trying to push responsibility on each other. And all of this can come down to seconds. If the driver accepted a ride even seconds before the crash, the policy can jump to $1 million. If they accept it just after, then you're dealing with a much smaller policy. Same accident, completely different outcome. That's why in these cases, proving exactly what the driver was doing is critical. Were they off the app? Were they logged in and waiting? Or were they on a trip? We look at app data, timestamps, and records to make that determination, because it can make a major difference in how much compensation is available. If you were hit by an Uber or Lyft driver or injured in a rideshare accident, do not assume the company's insurance automatically applies. The details matter, and they can significantly affect your case. Reach out to Parrish and Goodman for a free consultation. We'll help you understand exactly where your claim stands and what options you have. Because when it comes to rideshare accidents, what happens in those first few seconds before the accident really matters.